Every time I go on the transit, it's full train. Majority of the people sitting are men. Like, as long as there's a gender pay gap, women should not be standing.
Guys, you're not allowed to sit. You've committed the absolute felony of sitting.
Men everywhere have FOBC, fear of being a creep.
Guys have figured out the game. And the guys that have options don't need to approach you anymore. That's just the reality.
I go and I get to try a new restaurant or a new spot in Boston. And usually, if not always, it's fun by the guys.
You know what the date's not about? You, the date's, you going on the date with her, the date's not about you. She don't give a lick about you. Let me tell you a story. Hello. Ooh, welcome. How are you today? I'm doing great. Packed show, packed lineup, as they say. We're going to start with something that went viral about a Texas cop. Did you see this story? Holy moly. Can I just start with that? You know, when I start saying holy moly, things are about to get real. All right, let's go to number one. Number one is an article, but also a video. So we're going to get to the article first, and then we will play the video. God help us all. I see in the New York Post, which is always, you know, as we know, the gift that keeps on giving with these crazy stories. Horn dog Texas cop vows to give everyone a ticket after she didn't get action the night before. I was like, what? Oh, yes. So let's read first. A Texas cop vowed to give everyone a ticket after she didn't get laid the night before. I'm reading from this is how it's described in the Post the night before, according to a since deleted viral TikTok. Can't imagine why you deleted it, honey. The Post showed uniformed Harris County Constable Precinct 5 Deputy Jennifer Escalera. Ooh, her name too and everything. Ooh, shameful. Writing on a notepad with the caption, "Didn't get cracked last night." So ladylike to word it that way too. So everyone is getting a ticket. A nod to her apparently unfulfilling sex life. The cop blurred parts of her uniform but left her name tag visible in the Post. Ooh. The incident is under investigation, according to Fox 26. Okay, so let's open it up. And let's scroll and play. We have the TikTok because the Post, you know, they did that little thing where they embed it. So you can't escape, Muffin. All right, let's play it so you see. Okay. She really, I that's the proof. First of all, I'm doing this because it went viral and I honestly couldn't believe it. I was like, man alive, you know? You know that conversation we have sometimes? Let's all sit tighty. Notice how I sunk into the chair. That conversation we have about women being emotional and maybe certain jobs aren't suited for us. You know what I'm getting at? All right. So first of all, we could have a whole discussion about women in the police force. You know, the other day, let me tell you a story. I'm pulled over at a light. I'm not pulled over at a light. I'm stopped at a light. And I see that somebody's pulled over in front of me. And he's like, you know, he's in this like weird looking car, strange color. The guy you could see that he looked weird. I was like, oh, something's going to go down here. That's not good, right? I see the sheriff's car. I'm like, ooh, you know. So I'm like, oh, am I going to see it? You know how we all like stop. We can't help ourselves, right? I stop and I see the sheriff get out of the car. She's about 5'2". She's about 100 pounds dripping wet. And she looks like a munchkin in The Wizard of Oz. I was like, I mean, and I'm little. So for me to feel tall and statuesque is like very challenging. She looked this big, like a Smurf. And I see her walking this little Smurf to the car. And I'm thinking, what if this guy in the car is really shady? What is this woman going to do? So we could have a whole discussion just on that. And whether women should really be in these positions at all. Maybe the answer is no. I'm just saying. Oh, but Jed, if they can meet the standards. Yeah, you know, sometimes what happens, they lower the standards that women can get in. Let's not even talk about that. But regardless, is it advisable for women? Get in the chat. Do you think that women should be, you know, firefighters, police officers in positions where it's like a high danger capacity? And what choice would that woman have? My dad used to always say, you know, that woman, she encounters a problem. She's going to have no choice but to shoot him. Because what else are you going to do? Boom, boom. What is it going to be like this? You know, I mean, come on, right? Oh, she might know how to fight. She's this big. Even if she was, you know, fighting like, you know, a sumo wrestler, what could you do with this much? Come on. Smurfette, I should say. So we could have a whole discussion about that. But there's also the emotional component. This is not the first video that's come out like this. And there is a legitimate conversation to be had. Now, is she just perhaps someone of poor character, poor decision making? Sure. But do we all feel safe saying that it's much more likely that a woman would post something like this than a man? Do you feel comfortable making that assessment? I do. Okay. So again, listen. First of all, ladies, if you're going to take on responsibilities and jobs that are more masculine, can you just pull it together, right? If you have a bad night and you don't get, what did she say, cracked, can you just keep it to yourself? She's also got a kid. It's revealed later. You got a child, you're acting like this. Or if you can't keep your emotions intact, the crying or the complaining or the TikTok crap related to a job where you're supposed to be a civil servant. If you can't keep it together, then don't do that job, please. Please just step aside, Smurfette, and let somebody else do it. Okay, next. I had to lead with that because I truly couldn't believe it. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. Okay, number 2. Let's pull it. TikTok. Here we go. Ooh.
My hot take is that men shouldn't be allowed to sit because it's truly an epidemic that every time I go on the transit, it's full train. Majority of the people sitting are men. As long as there's a gender pay gap, women should not be standing on public transit. That's crazy to me. Yesterday I was on the path and a really old man, there was one empty seat and I saw him and I was like, please sit. And he's like, no, it's okay. You sit. And I was like, no, please sit down. You're obviously unwell. And look around, every other seat is taken by young, able-bodied men, and all the women are standing. There was someone that was pregnant that was standing. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. And I won't rest until men aren't allowed to sit.
Guys, you're not allowed to sit. You've committed the absolute felony of sitting. Oh, okay. First of all, the gender pay gap is fake, honey. I don't know what feminist studies course you took that lied to you, but it's fake. That is not real. The reason that men make more money is oftentimes because they're putting in more hours, because they don't take things like maternity leave, because they work harder, they invest more in time, they choose jobs that are more well-paying than, say a job, let's do an engineer versus a teacher as an example. These things exist because there is a gender gap in terms of decisions that women and men make that is different. Stop swallowing the talking points and sounding dumb. That's 1. 2, okay, again, I love this because you see video after video after video now of women complaining that men aren't being gentlemen. And I'm going to make video after video after video where I remind them that they're not being gentlemen because you told them not to be a gentleman because you found it offensive at the time. And now all of a sudden you want them to be a gentleman again because you snapped your fingers like this. And they are not a dog. It's not Pavlov's dog, honey. So now, will I say that there are... If you compare, for example, I'm in Texas now. If you compare New York guys to Texas guys, you will generally find that guys in cities aren't raised with as much of that gentlemanly tendency as guys, the country boys, right? It's just true, right? It's something that just culturally is not the case. And I think that happens because in many places where family values and traditional values are more, ingrained in the culture, that is mostly in the country as opposed to the city, you have strong father figures, you have, more stable homes, you have a whole bunch of, masculine and feminine roles doing what they should be doing, where those sons are raised with just a sense of this is my obligation, my duty as a man. And they're more resistant. If a woman tells a guy in Texas, don't open my door for me, he's going to be like, honey, I'm a man. That's what I'm here to do. If you don't like it, just, I just don't care. Right? They just don't give a lick because they've been raised, this is what's right, and they're going to do it. And they're not going to, date a woman who's not going to appreciate it, but they're going to open her door and she's just going to, deal with it. In fact, it was so funny the other day, I was driving to an appointment and it was really early in the morning in Texas and I was by myself and I pulled over to the side. I like to watch the sunrise. I pulled over to the side of the road, went down a street and got out of the car and was watching the sunrise. I left my car door open. There was a nice young man who drove in his car. He drove right past my car and then he backed up and he opened his window and he said, ma'am, are you okay? I just want to make sure you're okay. And I said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, I'm fine. I'm just watching the sunrise. He said, all right, I just wanted to make sure. And he kept going. And I thought, wow, right? That's amazing. New York City, they'll leave you could be on the side of the road with one arm hanging off, it's just raised different. So that is a reality. That is a problem. And a lot of times it's because of the breakdown of the traditional family, the traditional roles and all that is just inculcated into city life. That's true. However, there's also, again, these guys are so tired. They're like, oh, if I offer her a seat, she's going to roll her eyes at me and be like, why did you, offer me this seat when I am perfectly capable of standing just like you? I'm just as strong as you. I'm going to get a lecture about that. If I don't offer the seat, they're just tired. So they're just sitting down. That's a lot of that is happening too. What is my advice to you guys? Listen, you have to be a gentleman. Be a gentleman, but don't overextend yourself for trashy women, right? So when it comes to, if there's a pregnant woman on a subway, or if there's this, you have to get in touch with your masculinity such that you do the right thing in circumstances like that. That is very different, however, from going on a date and just on date one paying for everything, with an ingrate sitting across from you. So you got to figure this game out for yourselves. I hate to use the word game, but that's what it's become. But don't lose your gentlemanly masculine nature. Hold on to that, because the right woman will appreciate it, and you'll be very happy to give that to her when she arrives, and to have it so inculcated in your being that when you encounter garbage women, you just say, honey, I open doors for people. I'm a gentleman. If you don't like it, just too bad. That kind of attitude. Ooh, I love it. Okay, let's go to number 3. Ooh, this one's good. Let's play it.
Men everywhere have FOBC, fear of being a creep. Okay? Men don't approach women anymore because of FOBC. They don't want to be viewed as a creep. They don't want to be rejected, especially hot men. The only men that are going up to women and approaching them are ugly. So if I see one more video of a man talking about a woman having to be more approachable, I'm just going to tell you this straight up from just experience. I tried that, okay? That is a waste of your damn time. It doesn't matter how approachable you are. A man does not ever get the courage to go up to you because they have FOBC.
Wow, she's nuts, man. Crazy eyes. I warned you. You heard it here first. FOBC, fear of being a creep. How creative, honey. Oh. Again, okay. So she says the only guys that are approaching are, listen, guys have figured out the game, and the guys that have options don't need to approach you anymore. That's just the reality. You're so dying for the attention now that they have figured out that if they've got it together, if they're, pretty good looking, if they've got their finances and if they've got the confident energy, all that stuff, they don't need to go over to you, right? Who's coming up to you and chasing you are the guys that don't have any option. Oh, hi. Oh, they're trying to get your attention. They're desperate. They're playing the game wrong. And what are you doing, by the way? What are you doing in response to that? Do you remember that video we did with Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly where they're like, oh, you got to pursue. Guys have to pursue women. Really? Listen to how she's talking about the guys that pursue her. Oh, they're ugly. She writes them off and Of course, because they're losers. You can't chase women like that. You immediately get the L. They say, oh, loser. He's got nothing better to do, right? And who is she up all night thinking about? The guys who don't approach. Guys, learn how to... Unfortunately, you're in a game. It's sad. Learn how to win. Okay, let's go to number 4.
To all the men out there, if a woman ever says, what color should I get my nails? I'm going to get my nails done right now. What shape should I get? Anything mentioning the nail or nail salon, that is the part where you Venmo, Zelle, Apple Cash, send the money, drop off the cash, pick up on the hints, and pay for our nails. Thank you.
Why should he be paying for your nails, honey? First of all, are these women getting creepier and creepier by the minute? Is it just me? There's an eeriness to them. No? Ooh. Okay, that's number 1. Secondly, again, gold diggers everywhere, right? So first of all, I don't know why women have these discussions with men. Guys, have you found yourself many a night in these discussions of women do you like my nails better straight or rounded? And you're sitting there dear God, I couldn't give the tiniest lick on earth. Who cares, right? But you're I like them straight. Because you got to participate, right? Otherwise you get penalized. Well, do you like it better when I wear the neutral color, like a French manicure, or do you like the red better? And you're sitting there red. You don't think it's too costumey? Yeah, I guess the neutral. You don't think it's too boring? I mean, you just want to hang yourself in these discussions, guys. Do you not? You just don't care at all, right? As long as she's got nails, not at all bitten down to the bone weird, or there's not something crazy, she painted rainbow fingers on all. It's something psycho. You're who cares, right? Okay. So that's number 1. They really need to just stop having these conversations with men. Secondly, guys, don't now, if it's your wife, If it's your girlfriend of a long time, want to give her a little treat, oh, babe, you know what? I'll pay for you. Different. Do not take these ridiculous hints from these women that just showed up, right? You just met them and they're looking for you to pay for stuff, right? And what are you going to do? Like if you're an idiot, the idiot guy will go, oh, do you want me? You know what? It's my treat. And then you know what she does? She gets her nails done and she goes out with somebody else that Friday night. She's flashing the nails that you paid for. Ooh, don't be a moron. Don't take advice from these women. They do not have your best interest at heart, as you may have noticed. All right, number 5.
I think it's perfectly socially acceptable to go on dates as a hobby. Like one of my hobbies is going on first dates. And here I am. I go on the first date, like, sure, yeah, to meet the guy, to talk, get to know them, tell them about me, like, see if there's potential love there, like, whatever. Like, that's a small part of it. The big part of it is that I go and I get to try a new restaurant or a new spot in Boston. And usually, if not always, it's fun to buy the guy. So I'm like, ooh, like, let's go explore a little bit. Let's try to, like, grow what I know about my city. And then when I go out with my friends, I can be like, oh my God, I went to this really cool new spot. Like, let me show you. So I always try to get the guy to, like, pick a restaurant that I haven't been to yet or pick a cool new up and coming spot or whatever. So anyway, today we are going to the F1 arcade in Seaport, which I haven't been to, but it's like run by like the F1 racing company or whatever. And it's got like all these like simulators and I don't know, like professional race car driving games. So that's what we're doing today. Never been. The offer was that or Pet Shack. And I'm like, I've already done Pet Shack and like Cisco's right there, so that might be a part of it. But I'm really excited to go and check it out and try something new and explore more of my city. Because if I'm gonna go on a date and like this guy might be great, but you know, he might also just like, most likely, most of them are just like not my vibe. Like, and that's fine. But at least I'm gonna go try a new spot and go drive some fast cars.
Man alive. You know what the date's not about? You, the date's, you going on the date with her, the date's not about you. She don't give a lick about you, right? It's a fun, like, it's like a hobby, she says. Okay, so this is the woman that guys are encountering. First of all, she's getting asked out all the time, right? Although they're not coming up to them as much in the bars, and some of them are going crazy, losing it, as we've seen. But they, you know, the cute girls still getting approached online, the dating apps, all that. I told you guys, get off the dating apps. Some of y'all don't listen, but whatever. Do what you want. She's treating it like a hobby. So in other words, she says outright, oh, odds are he's going to suck, right? Like, whatever, not my vibe. Who cares? I'm going to find a new restaurant. I'm going to have a good meal. Belly's going to be full. Ooh. And then I'm going to tell my friends, oh, I went to this really cool place so that then we can go. It's like just discovering the town. Doesn't cost me any money. I just go and I'm like, you know, the guy's there, whatever. Hi. And I'm just, you know, doing the stuff, right? Maybe we can go to the arcade and I can win like, ooh, like, you know, she's looking everywhere but at you. So, okay. Guys, this is why I tell you don't spend money on date one, right? Because it's a fun hobby. It's your cash. She's not really interested in growing something with you, and it's not a priority, right? If you happen to be the most amazing guy and like it all happens to work out and it's like Cinderella meeting the prince, great. But odds are it's not, and she says that up front. Oh no, it's, you know, she's saying yes to guys that she's not even vibing with for the whole experience, right? This is why I tell you, stop just going out on dates constantly too. You know, you don't need to go on like 100 dates just because you could swipe and this and everything's in your face and the social media and everything. Just go out with people where there's some potential, right? Where you get a good vibe off the conversation. This is why I say don't do the dating apps and online stuff and meet people through, say you go to a party. Oh, a friend of a friend. You strike up a conversation. At that party, in that conversation, you've already vetted her. Right? You've already figured out, ooh, crazy. Ooh, no. Or, oh, wow, she's interesting. Oh, maybe I would have, she seems to be here for the right reason. She's at least a good conversation. At least you'll be getting something out of it, right? You're going to pay for it. You've decided, likely. You're going to pay for it. So you've decided, oh, I'm going to have fun too, you know? Okay. You got to vet these situations, man. Look what they're doing. Oh, it's a hobby. It's not about you. Woo-hoo. I can't. Holy. Okay. Hit that subscribe button. I forgot to tell you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You know you want to. You know you have to. All right. Number 6. Oh, she has a question for you, this one. She has a question for you. Let's do it.
I have a question for the people who are out there saying that we need to bring back traditional values. Okay. What are you talking about? Are you talking about back when women couldn't open a bank account without their husband? Or are we talking about when women had more time to bake because they weren't allowed into the workforce. Which traditional values are you talking about?
Okay. Those aren't values, honey. Man alive. Okay. Which traditional values do you like? Because they're getting mad now. These women are so fired up and twisted and like it all to, in a bunch because they know, because guys are coming out and now saying things like, I want a woman with traditional values. And they're like, what does that mean? Does that mean that you want me to go back? It's like the 1950s. They only know the talking point, like the dumb talking point. So what are traditional values? We know. Be virtuous. Stop having the body count and licking every Tom, Dick, and Harry because you can, right? And then you go back and you say, oh, my body count is, it's 65, but that was like 10 years ago. I grew back my hymen. Don't play that game, honey. Okay? Don't play that game. So virtue, the low body count, the respectful, kind, supportive, loyal, not a cheater, not a history of doing all that. You don't have like, he looks in your, he doesn't go look at your phone and you're like, what are you doing? Panicked because, you got 3 guy friends that are backups that you've, texted God knows what to the night before. And maybe, last week you were a little drunk and there's some sort of picture in there that he's going to find that you sent. Not that girl. So when we talk about values, we talk about wanting to turn a house into a home. We talk about wanting to be a mom, letting the guy be the head of the house. I mean, there's just masculine, feminine. They don't know the answer to the question. They are so removed from their femininity that they can't answer the question. So instead they say, you want me to be the 1950s housewife? Like that, Is it because I couldn't answer? Like, you want me to go back to when I couldn't work? That's a talking point. Nonsense, right? No one's saying women can't work. No one has said that. No one is saying women can't work. We want to ban women from working. Or we want to make us... No one is saying that. What people are saying is that when you have a household and you have children and you have somebody's got to work, right? That's a man's job to provide and protect and all that stuff, which you agree. You want the guy to earn a living and you want him to be able to support the household. Great. And then when you have children, you can't do, who's going to take care of the kids? The dog? So somebody's there's got to be give, right? And maybe you work part-time. Maybe you have a different situation. Maybe grandma, I don't know what the situation is, but it's like people aren't allowed to say that it's best case scenario for mom to be home with the kids without getting their heads cut off. They don't know what traditional values means because they're so removed from them. So guys, listen, get educated on this stuff enough and get a sense of how you feel so that when women ask you questions, be comfortable answering, right? If she's going to be offended by your answer, she's probably not for you, right? She's probably not for you. All right. Thank you for being here today. Short but sweet. No. I will see you again very, very soon. Something special coming up. I can't tease it. I can't say it. Just trust it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.